Talk about that in the very last segment of today's program. Welcome in. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Another full show, only an hour tonight. If you're joining us live here on 620 WTMJ and the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page. But the interviews we have lined up for today include Logan Henderson, who pitched yesterday, Kyle Harrison, who pitched 2 days ago, and he was dazzling. We'll talk about why some of the nerds are really excited about his changeup and what that means for the Brewers. We have some audio from Garrett Mitchell, who had a great day at the office today. He had a solo homer to lead off the game, a bases-loaded double down a left field line to score 3 more for himself. He continues to show that he's healthy, played center field flawlessly. Exciting stuff for Garrett. Let's dream a little bit about him. I've got some ABS thoughts now that we've seen it for a week and a half now, and how the Brewers are going to use it, what their game plan is. We saw a new wrinkle today with the Brewers' plan for the ABS Challenge. But we're going to start things off with the update that people have been waiting on, and including us in the media, is Quinn Priester. What the heck is actually going on with Quinn Priester? In case you've missed it, he hasn't thrown off of a mound since the first week of spring training. He has been dealing with a nagging wrist issue, and every time we press on the wrist, as in asking about it, we're not actually pulling him inside like, hey, let me see your wrist. The thing that we keep getting, it's a wrist issue. It's very vague. And today and yesterday, for the first time, Pat Murphy started to reveal a little bit more. And then today we finally got the chance to actually talk to Quinn about what's going on and what his progression has been. Because a lot of the attention has gone to Brandon Woodruff, but the irony of this is that Woody's throwing off a mound, and in fact, he's scheduled to appear in a game on Saturday against the Angels in Tempe. So Priester is currently not off of a mound, but before we break down what this actually means for the Brewers, let's hear from Murph and let's hear from Quinn about what's going wrong right now.
He's not responding consistently. So he'll have a bullpen, he feels great, and then the next bullpen, he can't do it. And whenever you're dealing with whatever up the arm, the wrist, that I can't, then you're concerned. So it's concerning, but I'm optimistic because all the people, we're thinking about even sending them to a specialist now. So we're optimistic that the shoulder MRI and the elbow MRI, everything is good, but something's keeping him from progressing. So we're staying on top of it, investigating.
Is it a rare? I guess that's the part that's difficult is some throws I'll be able to feel it, and then some throws I don't. And so sometimes it's difficult based on the day to understand kind of what we're going to expect. It's some of the frustration with this whole thing right now. My thought process is get back as soon as we can. I don't think, obviously I'm going to stay optimistic with things and keep pushing and kind of, like I said, take it day by day. It's an annoying thing, but it's, I think, the best thing because, feeling really good tomorrow and or today, tomorrow, et cetera, keep going and build right up from there. I don't think there's any reason to wake up thinking it's not going to go well. So, wake up with the tech each day and understand that, today might be the day where we kind of push through this thing and then just hit the ground running or continue on. In terms of the IL and those things, that's things we need to talk about as a team. Obviously, don't want that to happen. And we're just going to take it day by day. I hate repeating that, but...
Yeah, I appreciate him not wanting to use cliches, right? That's one of the, unspoken rules of being able to avoid cliches whenever you're speaking on the broadcast. But I wanted to point out a couple of things. He mentioned to us, not in that clip, that he really first started to feel it in August against the Cubs in that long 19-game stretch that the Brewers had in the middle of the season. But since that day and to the rest of the regular season, after he said he first felt the wrist issue, it was 6 starts, 33 innings, 31 hits, which is pretty normal for him, but still less hits than innings pitched, barely. 32 strikeouts, which is good, a 2.70 ERA, and he still had a 48% ground ball rate. He was pitching through it. And I think at the end of the year, and we talked about this with Sal Frelick last week, right? Everybody's dealing with something at the end of the year. Are you hurt or are you injured? everybody can play hurt. Pitchers play hurt almost every start in the second half. So you can see why there's no concern, like, he's fatigued, he's reaching a new career high in innings, he's going to be needed in the postseason. The Brewers were fighting for the 1 seed at that point. They understood. And what the team doctors had told Quinn was, you know what, we hear you on this wrist issue, we've done imaging, we've done tests. It doesn't seem like there's anything structural going on here. It doesn't seem like there's a problem. So let's hope that when you take a month or two off here for the off season, and when you start your throwing program back up, this should be gone. So that didn't happen. He came back and threw, but it's been inconsistent with how he's feeling. Like, some days it feels good, some days it feels bad. In fact, I remember literally my first week in camp, the day that position players reported, the first day I was at camp, I was watching him throw a bullpen off a mound with Chris Hooks. I mean, I have a photo of it that I haven't, shared yet, but it's just like they're working together, and they're not like talking about the wrist or anything, but it's just he's throwing. But clearly something has changed that after he threw a live session 2 days later, that he just hasn't felt the same since. So what does that mean for the rotation? And what does that mean for Garrett Mitchell? And what does that mean, or not Garrett Mitchell, but Jacob Mizorowski? And what does that mean for what the Brewers could look like on opening day? I don't think Quinn Priester is going to be on the opening day rotation. I know he doesn't believe that. He wants to take it day by day, but just adding it up and how the Brewers are taking this, 3 weeks is not enough time to build up. I mean, he's not off a mound right now. Now, granted, he is still playing catch. Let's make that very clear. He's still playing catch. He's trying to keep a load on his arm, which is good news. But now, for the first time, they're considering going outside the organization to a specialist to see if there's anything else going wrong. For people who don't know how this stuff works with the medical teams and that sort of thing, like, the Brewers have their own specialists that are in certain practices. Like, they have a certain elbow guy, that's Dr. Keith Meister. They have other, entities and disciplines within their medical staff that they trust within them to make diagnoses on the field. They pay them money, they make diagnosis without, having to wait in line. But if they're going to go to a specialist, they have to probably wait in line, they have to schedule things, they have to go outside. There's a whole bunch of levels that go to that. And they've already had a second opinion in the offseason, and that second opinion is what they went with: rest and rehab and see what happens. So now the Brewers are waiting for him to respond to the current plan of action for treatment if he's going to be ready in April, best case scenario, right? But what does this mean is that, well, I don't think Woodruff is going to be opening day starter, but this is where I hold pause. The Brewers haven't said he's not going to be available the first week. He may not be on opening day, but remember, the Brewers have 3 off days in their first 10 games. And maybe he doesn't pitch on, the 26th, but maybe he pitches on the 30th, right? Maybe he pitches game 4. He's in the opening day rotation, but just not on opening day. So maybe that means Jacob Mizorowski is the opening day starter. That's not being reported as fact, but just with the way that, okay, Miz was the first one that we saw get 3 ups. Now, granted, the third up was down in the bullpen because he was at where the pitch count where they needed for the game and that sort of thing. The next time we see him, we'll probably have 4 ups for Miz. And on top of that, you've got Chad Patrick, who's throwing tomorrow against the Diamondbacks. You've still got decisions with, like, Brandon Sproat, who I think pitched brilliantly yesterday. We'll talk to Kyle Harrison here in a moment. I mean, the Brewers have depth at the starting rotation and things to figure out if they need to replace Quinn Priester in the opening day rotation. This is exactly why they have as many arms as they have. So once we know more about Quinn, probably toward the end of camp, maybe he gets off a mound by the end of camp, which would be great news, but I expect him to start the year on the IL. I don't think, unless something crazy happens with a new imaging or a new diagnosis, he's going to miss a significant amount of time. That's my take. Hopefully it sticks that way, but I am not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Let's switch things over to the offense now. And let's talk a little bit Garrett Mitchell, because he had himself a great day, and let's start to imagine and start to believe in what the Brewers first believed in when they drafted him, because, man, we all dream of a healthy season from Garrett. You'll hear from him next on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Back with more Brewers Weekly after this.
2026 Brewers tickets are on sale now. This year, it all kicks off at our house with opening day at home, followed up with a schedule that's absolutely loaded. Throw in the same flair for the dramatic thrills on any given night. Plus Brewers giveaways you won't forget. And you've got a season you're going to have to see to believe. Don't miss a second of Brewers action this year. The crew is back for more. All Brewers tickets for the 2026 season are on sale now. now at Brewers.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Thanks for making us a part of your Thursday evening programming note. We won't have live episodes of Brewers Weekly the rest of spring training, given the Bucks play each of the next 2 Thursdays. But I will have at least one more podcast, maybe 2 or 3, depending on what we line up these final couple of weeks, leading up to opening day, and then plenty of reaction. And remember, Brewers All Access is the name of the podcast feed if you're listening live, and that's where we post all of these shows and the postgame shows during the regular season. Let's talk Garrett Mitchell. Today, man, there was some loud contact in the first pitch of the game from Michael Lorenzen. A deep drive to center, 111.5 off the bat, 29 degrees, 462 at Salt River Fields. Now, the wind was blowing out today. Let's make that clear. It wouldn't have mattered if the wind was blowing out. That ball was crushed, absolutely crushed. I tweeted the MLB The Show perfect, because it was loud, it was perfect. It was dead center field. And if you've ever been to Salt River Fields, it's like a step ladder, or not ladder, but steps of cacti of 4 different levels, and he hit it all over the top of the batter's eye onto the top level of the cacti. So quite the shot. And we talked to Garrett after, and before we play that, I just want to remind everybody, he's still in his prime. He doesn't turn 28 until September, okay? He's only got 443 plate appearances in the show. Obviously, that's injury-related. Obviously, some of that is fluky, but availability is an ability. And Garrett is not hiding from the fact that he hasn't been on the field. He's just as frustrated as you are, okay? I'm sick of the narrative that maybe some people don't understand that, players are getting injured and they're getting service. No. These are fluky things that have happened to Garrett Mitchell, right? He's rehabbing an oblique injury, and then he jams his shoulder on a play back at first base, and then he injures his surgically repaired shoulder, or he stretches for a dive on a slide at third base and it, tears his labrum. And then you have a freak thing with a finger off a pitching machine in 2 years prior to that. I give Garrett the benefit of the doubt that these have been fluky things, because when you see him on the field, my goodness, is their talent just dripping of what he's capable of doing. And we are all begging to see it for an extended period of time. Garrett wasn't shy about mentioning what that looks like for him and how he thinks he's going to be successful for the rest of spring training and into the season.
I know, obviously, when I'm on the field, good things happen, but I think it's really just about putting quality at-bats together. Hit or out, not really what I'm thinking too much about. But I think putting together quality team at-bats, passing the baton to the next guy type thing, that's my idea.
Have you learned to adjust your approach in that way in the time you've been in the big leagues, versus when you first came up to now? Is it different than what you've learned over the years?
It's a good question. I don't know if it's changed all that much more than just the group you're around. You know what I mean? You kind of take on that identity. And so I think like how I'm thinking about the game and how I'm approaching it is no different. But I think when you see guys from top to bottom put together quality at bats, you feed into that. So I think that it more shapes it, if that makes sense.
Like the double at bat would be something like that. Right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously too, like I know I strike out a fair amount too, or statistically I have. And so I think more than anything, it's one, being comfortable, like trying to get back to, I mean, the last time I had, I would say a fair amount of games was 24, right? Mm-hmm. Like in 24, it was really, again, doing the same thing, trying to make hard contact and put the ball in play. So it's just kind of trying to get back to it because, again, there's been a lot of time not on the field as well, too. So it's like a lot of it's been watching. So it's taking the mental reps, watching how it's going, watching how guys are playing. And then, like I said, just trying to kind of seamlessly integrate into that.
So when I look under the hood for Garrett Mitchell, and let's go back to that 2024 season. Okay, let's nerd out for a little bit here. When you look at Baseball Savant, a reminder, this is only 224 plate appearances, so it's pretty small, but obviously 24. He had the epic home run in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series against the Mets to force a Game 3. A few things that jump out to me right off the bat. On the spray chart here on Baseball Savant, everything is up the middle. His power is straight away center, and he's even got a cluster of 3 homers to left center field. Okay, that's a good sign. He has the speed that we've all known about. You know, he's got 90th plus percentile speed, flirts with 30 feet per second when he runs. He's just a freak when he runs. The things that are bright red, things that you're excited about when you look at Garrett's 2024, given how it was only about half of a season. Bat speed numbers, elite. Averaging 75 miles an hour on his swing. Now, that's not context-based, so, you know, that means on average, that's including when he's fighting on an 0-2 pitch or when he's, you know, taking a daddy hack on 2-0, he's averaging 75.7 miles an hour back in 2024. That's good news. Chase rate, elite, only 17%, well above league average, and his walk rate was pretty good at 11%, league average right around 8%. But then the blue stuff is the squared up, the whiff, and the strikeout rate. And you heard Garrett talk about it there. He's like, yeah, I know I strike out a lot, but it's because I'm aggressive. And I want to swing at pitches in the zone aggressively and not just try to slap a ball in play because he has that sort of ability to put the ball in play. So, for instance, when you scroll a little further down, his zone contact rate back in 2024 was 9 points below league average at 73%. That's not good, but when he's making contact, it's loud contact. Now, shorter sample size last season, given he really only got to play about a month. That zone contact rate was trending upward to 81%, but it's such a small sample, I don't want to overreact to it, given if he's making more contact in the zone, which, again, 81%, if he's more close to league average, naturally the numbers are going to be there. That's why I'm excited about him. He's such an interesting cat because, yes, you can be alarmed by a 30% strikeout rate, but the majority of that isn't chase, right? I think that what I see with Garrett Mitchell is a guy that likes to swing the bat. And I'm not going to fault a guy for being aggressive in the zone. Big misses, but also big power, big potential. You know, the freaks get to have it both ways. And even Aaron Judge strikes out a lot. Even Shohei Ohtani strikes out a lot. But their good far outweighs their bad. Now, to this point, the bad of Garrett not being on the field, having small sample sizes, and striking out a lot while not seeing the good is why maybe you have a skewed view of Garrett. But I think we are all just begging, Garrett, can we just see 450 plate appearances for you in a season? Can we get you a qualified hitter? 502 plate appearances. Can you get to be a qualified hitter? Because the Brewers are going to give him every opportunity to do so. We'll talk about it in the roster projection at the very end of the show, but, man, you just sit here and think, what if you've got Churio entering year 3, Mitchell being healthy, Frelick being the way he was, Turang entering into his own, Yelich continuing his great season from last year, Contreras being healthy, and then all you're really asking for is league average, a 95 even WRC plus from Joey Ortiz at short, maybe a combined platoon at third of Rengifo and Hamilton. that's somewhere around 95 to 100. And then if Vaughn can give you 105, 110, dude, that's 90 wins right there. I really do believe that. But we'll see. We all just want to see him on the field. Up next, let's nerd out a little bit and listen to Kyle Harrison after his first action in the Cactus League. The new lefty acquired in the Red Sox trade for Caleb Durbin joins us next on 620 WTMJ.
Catch more Brewers Weekly coming up on WTMJ.
Analyzing the news from the perspective of those in the field. Hey, it's WTMJ's Adam Roberts. Join me every Sunday at 10 for Reporter's Notebook, where we take a deeper dive behind the biggest stories of the past week, told from the perspective of the reporters, anchors, and news directors making decisions behind the scenes and covering the stories you hear every single day.
Bringing you the story behind the story. It's Reporter's Notebook, Sunday mornings at 10 on WTMJ.
March into big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Refresh your home this season with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, beautiful new siding, or a stunning bath remodel and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during their March savings event. But this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
We demand a lot of our shoulders and hands, our hips and knees, our backs and feet. They do life's heavy lifting, so we owe them the greatest attention in return. The Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network provides expert orthopedic and spine care to help you move, lift, turn, and reach with the most possible ease. Whether you have a sports-related injury or a nagging condition that just won't go away, excellence should always be an option. So we make our care available in nearby locations and offer same-day ortho and spine appointments when relief can't wait. It's how to recover quicker, prevent small concerns from becoming big ones, and solve complex issues with the expertise you can only get with academic medicine. We're given just one body, so let's tend to it, check in on it. Let's give it the greatest of care, because when it's tuned up and injury-free, we can always be pushing ahead. To learn more about our nationally recognized orthopedic and spine care, visit freighter.com/ortho.
It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Kyle Harrison pitched against Team GB in the exhibition on Tuesday against the Brits, who were mostly Bahamians and American-raised players, but that's beside the point. He had the short end of the stick having to face the back half of that team, and Murph mentioned this too in his postgame that day, saying, like, the stuff still is what played really well to get excited about. Now, they understood that he was facing the bench guys of maybe one of the bottom-tier teams in the World Baseball Classic, but nonetheless, a lot of them are still professionals. When you look at the box score for Kyle Harrison, 3 innings, just 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and a pair of strikeouts. The thing that really dazzled people was a changeup. But we'll hear from Kyle here, and then we'll explain why people were freaking out as Kyle Harrison met with the media after his tremendous start, or not start, but rather outing against Team GB on Tuesday.
We've been talking to Murph a lot about sort of the patient way they've been rolling guys out. So has that been a little different than Fast Springs for you, and how was it just to get out there?
For sure. I think just the slow roll has been different. I think it's kind of smart in a way. I think it's always been a competition for me to kind of come into camp and earn the spot. And ultimately, kind of halfway into the year, ended up getting banged up my first kind of full year up there. So, it's cool to see the slow play, and there's a method behind it, right? So, yeah, man, that's what I am at.
Are you still looking at it that way, coming in here to compete, or do you feel have they given you some assurances, like, here's our plan to?
No, you're always competing every day. Second you think like that, someone's going to take it. So you got to go and get it every day, and that's kind of what I've been thinking. And I'm just going to attack every day and get better each and every day. Just keep stacking the days. That's all you can do, and control the things I can control. That's it, man.
Go ahead.
I by chance met both of your parents yesterday. They were just so excited for you to be a part of this organization. For you, how have you settled into it? I guess what have you enjoyed at Milwaukee?
Yeah, everything, to be honest. The people, the coaches, it's been great. So, I mean, just learning every day, working hard, catch play. Trainers are great, strength coaches. I mean, it's hard to not feel great here. So they pump you with a lot of confidence and let you run the show ultimately. So it's really cool, really cool.
Is there anything that you've noticed that is like different compared to other organizations, or just that makes the Brewers different?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to put a finger on one thing, but I'd just say the attention to detail and just the effort that we put into each and every day and the care, that we put into each and our individual work. It's great, and we're just all pushing the same direction.
When you sit down and assess, your first outing against opposing hitters, I know you've had lives in the back. What's jumping out to you? What do you enjoy seeing progress so far in the org?
I think just for me, like the command of my glove side, just getting the fastball in the zone more. And then honestly, just building off the changeup and mixing the sliders. So just kind of starting with my stuff in the zone. That's kind of been the emphasis, and then move into the break of things. So, but definitely the changeup I'm excited about, and trying to refine the sinker and fastball. So it's always we always say it's the everlasting search, right? As a pitcher, it's like you're always trying to get better each and every day. So it's, well, how can I get better this little way, this way? So it's the tinkerer,
Well, the kick change certainly kind of got the baseball world looking at your scatter fly yesterday. How did you react to seeing the swings you got on it and just sort of the movement you were able to create?
I mean, ideally, I want a little more whiff. I mean, as we're pitchers, right? We want to play wiffle ball up there, but I'd say it's encouraging to see that it did translate over to a game. I was seeing that over in bullpens, so I'm like, hopefully, this doesn't mean anything, right? It's got to stick in a game, and ideally, I want the locations to be a little better with them, but it was nice to fill up the zone with it and see the actual movement of the pitch. So just something I need to throw one more to get comfortable with, and I'm ready to do it.
Is that invigorating to add something new? When was the last time you added something new like this?
Last year, I got to try my handful of things over in Boston. Sinker, slider grips, new changeup grips, tried a bunch of different variations. So honestly, it was a cool part of my career, to be over in Boston, try those things out. I never got to. So then just messing around this offseason, found a grip that kind of worked with me, turned it in a little bit, and started to get comfortable and started to see the ball go down. So good sign.
I saw you talk about this a little yesterday, but what's the percentage of the physical part of that, the actual grip and execution, and the mental? Is it 50-50? Is it harder to one side? For me,
it's 50-50. I'd say mentally it's like trusting the pitch for sure, but physically it's a little bit of a taxing pitch, right? Like it beat me up a couple weeks, cutting the fingernail and all that, bruising the finger. So all that stuff, just finding the pressure you need on it. And I'm still trying to figure it out day by day, but got through yesterday with no casualty, and that's a good sign. So we're trying to learn with this pitch and just get better with it, execute it.
Sorry.
No worries.
We didn't see the slider as a cutter yesterday. Was that by design, or we just couldn't find it?
I threw the slider for sure. Threw it probably 5-6 times. But yeah, no cutter, just trying to get comfortable with these other pitches that I'm throwing right now, the 4 pitches. The sinker I mixed in as well, but I'm not sure if it got mapped. But yeah, just trying to get comfortable with those 4, and then we could build off it if we need to.
So when you look at a scatter plot, I know it can be really intimidating if you're not knowing what you're looking at, but let me just put it simply here. Whenever you're looking at a scatter plot, always look at it from the pitcher's perspective, meaning you're the one on the mound, and if the dots are on the left side of 0, traditionally in the negatives, that means it's moving. If you're lefty, arm side is what we'd say, and if you're a righty, glove side. And everything naturally moves down, right? Nothing resists gravity on its way. It may look like it, right? That's what we call induced vertical break, where you're able to resist gravity by how many inches, right? If you're at 16, your league average. If you're like 18, 20, I know it doesn't sound like a big difference from league average, but when you think about 2 inches, I mean, that's sometimes the width of the barrel, right? That's the difference between the sweet spot and breaking a bat, So that's why this stuff so matters. But the reason I'm trying to bring up the scatter plot here is the changeups that Kyle Harrison was throwing. ideally, you want separation between your fastball and your changeup. No duh, right? But when you're seeing more than 2 feet of separation from his average fastball to his average changeup, that's when a hitter has a really hard time. Because Kyle Harrison is somebody that likes to pitch on the high arm side, right? He likes to pitch elevated. He has a really funky fastball where it's from a low slot. He releases it very low, but it explodes upwards. He doesn't have elite-induced vertical break, but he's somebody that has deception, has some natural sink, and he's lefty. Lefties are weird. We all know that. But to have that separation on a kick change, and the kick change is referencing to the grip and how he's releasing the baseball and he's kicking the seam to actually force it and be a spin-based movement. I can go hours and hours on this. There is so much data and so much research already presented about how effective a kick change can be. But Kyle Harrison could be the latest one to be a successor and somebody that uses it in his repertoire. He is going to pitch in the big leagues this year. Is he going to be in the opening day roster? I'm not sure. But he is going to pitch in the big leagues this year for the Brewers. And I'm telling you, the moment that he comes up, I don't think he's going to go back down. I loved what we saw yesterday or Tuesday from Kyle Harrison. And it's a reminder why the Brewers made that trade when they did. It's painful to let Caleb Durbin go, but in the words of Pat Murphy, it was a critical trade because you now get 5 years of Kyle Harrison. You've got 6 years of Shane Drowan. You've got 6 years of Brandon Sproat and the Freddie Peralta deal. Those 3 guys can be core players to go with Miz, to go with Chad Patrick, to go with Logan Henderson, to go with Robert Gasser, right? That's pretty exciting for what the Brewers have stockpiled. So I loved what we heard from Kyle Harrison. Let's briefly talk a little bit about the automated ball strike challenge system. Then we're going to hear from Logan Henderson before we give you our roster projection. Going to the top of the hour right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
More Brewers Weekly coming up on WTMJ.
We did the math. When you buy bagged mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Business owners and right-hand men and women. When you make the catering call for your office gathering, make it Marty's Pizza for pizza, pasta, subs, wings, appetizers, and more. Delivered in our heated oven delivery trucks. Our catering delivery range has expanded all the way east into Brookfield. Just log on to martyspizza.net for easy online ordering. Or give us a call at 262-646-3327. 262-646-3327.
Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember Marty's Pizza.
Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
The robots are coming. The robots are coming. We've seen plenty of the automated ball strike system, challenge system. That is what ABS stands for. Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. I'm fired up for the rest of the general public to see this. It has been seamless. It has been so easy for ballparks to get it right. It gets integrated on the games that are telecasted. Everybody sees it at the exact same time. And like to bring you behind the scenes as well, when I have access to the full StatCast, gambit. And previously, if you're somebody that's working within the ballpark, you get to see where the pitch enters on the StatCast zone live, like in the moment. Now, everybody gets delayed. There's no way a signal can be passed down to say, challenge, because I saw it here first, 10 seconds, whatever. The point being is the Major League Baseball has thought about this clearly for a long time, and the way that the rollout has gone has been really, really smooth. We've talked about this for a long time with Pat Murphy today, because one of the things they introduced, and Kurt Hogue just wrote about it in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, is they're starting to introduce this sort of, we're calling it the green card system. Maybe it's a little silly. Maybe we'll call it green light system instead. But there's literally a Velcro pad that they're putting on the railing. It's one of the offensive analysts, Ninja is his nickname, Evan Martin, that puts down a red card or a green card, meaning red, hey, this is not a situation you should be challenging right now, and a green card saying, yes, you're going to challenge. Now, that's more for the coaches than it is for the batter, right? So Matt Erickson, when he's giving the signals to the batter, maybe incorporates a sign that says, yeah, you're in the clear to challenge here, okay? The only time it would probably be, there'll be plenty of times it's red, I should say, but like when you're down 2 in the third inning with 2 outs and nobody on a 1-0 pitch, like, no, you're not challenging that pitch, right? Pat Murphy said today, the goal is always to have a challenge to use at the end of the game, but you should use them. It's okay if you get a challenge wrong, but you also shouldn't have challenges left over in a close game at the end of the contest. The other thing that they're doing with that card system is that it's notifying the catcher what to do. And you may be thinking, like, well, is that getting help from the dugout? And are they not allowed to do that? No, it's not in every pitch. It's before the at-bat, or it's in the moment it's changing. And it's no different, Pat Murphy said today, than, signaling to your catcher, like, hey, here's what I want for your first and third defense or for your bunt defense, right? That's no different. Like, you get information from the dugout all the time. Sometimes fans don't notice it. And this is just a new bit of information to gather from the dugout saying, hey, first and second, 2 outs in a tie ball game in the 7th inning or later. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good time to say, like, ooh, I thought that was a strike. Let's flip this count, or whatever it may be. So I'm impressed by that. Jefferson Caro, by the way, perfect so far in spring training. He has not got a challenge wrong behind the plate. Now, we don't expect him to be in the big leagues at the start of the year, but he could be in the big leagues at some point this year if something happens to Gary or to William. And he was one of the best minor league catchers at the ABS last season. And talking to him today about the ABS, he thinks the hardest one to track is, and convinced that you get it right, is the high strike. So that's going to be something to monitor throughout the year, that you always try to frame a high strike, but it's harder to think that what looks obvious to you and me is really hard from behind the plate. Maybe your target is a different spot. But as the season goes on and you get more training and more experience with what these zones are, and given the top of the zone changes batter to batter, those could be the challenges that are on the margins that win or lose a game. So quick little ABS thoughts there. Up next, we're going to hear from Logan Henderson. He also pitched yesterday. He didn't have his best stuff, but he's still certainly a factor in this starting rotation race. We talk to Logan next on 620 WTMJ.
Back with more Brewers Weekly after this.
2026 Brewers tickets are on sale now. This year, it all kicks off at our house with opening day at home, followed up with a schedule that's absolutely loaded. Throw in the same flair for the dramatic thrills on any given night. Plus Brewers giveaways you won't forget. And you've got a season you're going to have to see to believe. Don't miss a second of Brewers action this year. The crew is back for more. All Brewers tickets for the 2026 season are on sale now at Brewers.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. Admit it, sometimes when you're out and about, you see people you know are older than you, but they seem to be acting younger. They're out there exercising, swimming, playing tennis, enjoying life, and you wonder to yourself, why do I feel older than I really am? Well, it's that joint pain, right? That pain that makes you feel older. You're not that old. It's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics patients right here in Milwaukee are getting relief. They're feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen on an operating table. The sooner you start treatment at QC Kinetics, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. And that's when you start to feel your age again. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Call 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. Set yourself up with a free consultation and start living your life again. 414-667-5559. Call QC Kinetics today.
For growing businesses, digital marketing shouldn't be a gamble. If your business needs results, not guesswork, it's time for a different approach. At Margot Media, we deliver real results for businesses in an evolving digital world. Backed by data, guided by strategy, and focused on actionable outcomes. We partner with businesses of all sizes to drive growth locally or nationwide. Set up a free consultation today. Visit us at margomedia.com. That's MARGLE media.com.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
Hey beauties, you're invited to swing by your local Merle Norman for a fabulous eye-catching gift with purchase that's sure to make you sparkle. What's inside this gift? Only the essentials for eye perfection. Trial sizes of Brilliancy Eye Cream, eyeshadow primer, a soft touch eyeshadow duo, and soft touch eye pencil. Hurry, these goodies are only good while supplies last at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square. Free with the purchase of 2 or more Merle Norman cosmetic products. Cosmetic accessories not included. Offer valid while supplies last at participating Merle Norman Cosmetic Studios only. Limit 1 per customer. We reserve the right to modify the gift if needed. Promotion not available at merlenorman.com.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At Og Prep, faith ignites excellence in academics, the arts, athletics, and every aspect of our lives. Students don't just realize their full potential, we learn to soar. The #1 K-12 school in Milwaukee is expanding to the North Shore and is now enrolling grades K4 through 6th and 9th. Og Prep North, made for more. Apply today at ogprep.org.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Logan Henderson joins us on Brewers Weekly. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Logan, welcome back, man. I mean, from your big league debut last season, unfortunately cut short due to injury, but just take me back to the year, the whirlwind of emotion that season really was in 2025.
Yeah, like you said, last season was a whirlwind, but you know, I had a lot of time to reflect on it, and last year was truly an incredible year with the debut and getting some time in the big leagues. Of course, unfortunately, it was cut short due to injury. So, but it was awesome. Lots of stuff to learn from, and ready to go this year.
So last year, you're trying to get healthy and get back for postseason. You're around the team, you're playing catch and everything, and you got to kind of be a front row seat to the playoffs without being in the playoffs. Is there anything that you can take away that you learned from those couple of weeks the Brewers had in October?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I was there for the LA series. I learned that I want to be a part of it, and I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to be in that position to be healthy next year. So. That was an incredible experience. Unfortunate it went the way it did, but that makes me want to be involved and be able to contribute moving forward.
Take me into your offseason, because we know you've got the changeup, we know you've got a good heater. What else are you adding to the repertoire? What are you trying to work on? What are you trying to tinker with right now?
Yeah, the curveball. I've thrown the curveball quite a bit recently, just trying to gain a feel for that again. Threw it earlier in my career, threw it in the back pocket, but we have it again now. So that was a big focus this offseason, was throwing the curveball. And again, continuing to work on the fastball and changeup, but also the cutter, being able to throw that and really any count and getting the guys off the heater. So, it was a full offseason, feeling healthy and, ready to go.
Folks hear like, oh, I used to throw the cutter, now I stopped throwing it. Maybe people are confused, like, well, he's got another pitch, why would he stop throwing that? Can you take us to like the pitching development of, well, this pitch wasn't performing like I wanted it to, or how does a pitch fall out of the repertoire and come back in you?
Yeah, I think it was a physical thing for the curveball, and when I put it away a while back, and body wasn't responding well to it. But I've thrown it different this time, and I'm recovering really well from throwing it. So. I think it just plays really well into my arsenal, and with my low slot ride heater, I think the curveball will complement that really well. So I think it's important that I throw it, not throw it 50% of the time, but have it and show it. And
looking around in this clubhouse, I mean, there's so much study that you talent in this room, and you're a part of that as well. Last year, you make a handful of starts and get optioned and just kind of first sit you down, say like, hey man, you pitched well, but you got more guys here too. So how do you view it for 2026, given how much talent really is in this room now? You are going to kind of have to all share it, or do you see that as competition?
I mean, I think it's all of the above. I think it's a great problem to have if you're the Brewers front office right now, but it's fun to be able to compete with these guys and learn from these guys, because again, we're deep and we're young, but you see it, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it because at the end of the day, I have to post and, get better myself. So, whatever the situation, calls for, I'm ready. I'm ready to throw at any level, and obviously, just trying to get better every day, and I know those guys are too. So,
take me into your off season. One of your Christmas gifts that you got from your friends. I can't let you go without asking about the baseball part. I mean, it's a funny bit, but for the folks who don't know, what actually happened this Christmas from your buddies?
Yeah, so I was living with my two best friends from high school this off season, and last year got tagged pretty good in Pittsburgh, and they'd given me so much crap about it all off season. It's all fun and games. I love hearing about it, really. But if you don't know, O'Neill Cruz hit the hardest ball ever tracked off of me last year. So they got me a Topps card. Pretty much saying exactly that. Got a PSA graded and got it for me for Christmas. So that was pretty special. It's a good bro moment for sure.
Did you have any inkling, like as you're opening, or like take me into like, all right, this feels like a card, and then you realize the joke, or what happened?
Yeah, I had an idea. Like I wasn't sure. Like before I opened it, I had no idea, and then I felt like a card, and had guessed a couple of guys, and then. Like wasn't really thinking. It was like, okay, no, it's definitely O'Neill Cruz, isn't it? And I opened it, and there we go. So it's really funny.
It's just guys being dudes. Yeah, where's that card living right now? Is it thrown away, or is it?
No, it's at home. It's at home. Maybe I'll get him to sign it or something, or I don't know. But it's a wholesome moment between us, and hopefully that number. Hopefully somebody else gives up a homer hit harder than that one, because but I don't know, I balls it pretty hard. So
hey, it was the only run you gave up that day.
It sure was. So got him twice that day too.
Exactly. So hey, you still got the edge on that one, and
Absolutely.
You'll see O'Neill again, I hope, at some point.
Without a doubt.
This season too. Logan, thanks for the time. Best of luck. Stay healthy rest of the year.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Just a cool, chill dude from Texas. Gotta love Logan Henderson. He's got a nasty changeup and is going to be a big piece of this crew once again. All right, take our last break. We're going to have a real rapid-fire look at the roster up on 620 WTMJ.
Catch more Brewers Weekly coming up on WTMJ.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers, where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests.
That's WTMJ.com/contests.
Since 1956, the Adair name has stood for craftsmanship, honesty, and taking care of people the right way. I'm Austin Adair.
And I'm Chelsea.
My grandparents started this company with nothing but hard work and pride in every single job. My parents carried that legacy forward, and today, my wife and I are proud to continue it as third generation of Adair Floors and Remodeling. This isn't just a business to us. It is our family name, our reputation, and our promise to you. At Adair Floors and Remodeling, we help homeowners upgrade with confidence. Whether you need luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, carpet, tile, or a full remodel, our team handles everything from design to installation. Quality products, professional crews, clear communication, and results you'll love. That's what 3 generations have built and what we stand behind every single day. Visit Adair Floors and Remodeling today at our large showroom located in Franklin, or give us a call at 414-761-3660 for a free estimate. Adair Floors and Remodeling. 3 generations, 1 standard.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
I miscalculated time. But what I would say about the roster, and we'll talk about this more in next week's taped episode, I don't really see any position battles, man. Maybe fourth outfielder, maybe last reliever, but this team's pretty set. My thanks to our producer, Isaac Marquardt. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
So many emails coming in, this trip will sell out. Vince Vitrano here, Vinny's European Vacation. Would love to have you join us in October, traveling to southern Italy and Sicily with WTMJ and Colette Vacations. Our tour begins in Palermo, Sicily, happens to be where my dad's family is from.